Hey, good morning, everyone. Michael Fanning here. This is Warm Up 331. And today I want to talk about being gritty and a few other attributes as well. And this comes from a podcast I was listening to from Impact Theory, and they were interviewing Rich Diviney. And Rich Diviney has a book called The Attributes, and it's 25 hidden drivers of optimal performers. And, Angela Duckworth wrote a book about grit. But grit is really 4 specific attributes, and he kind of breaks it down in this talk, and he also breaks it down in his book. But if you think about individuals who just have the ability to persevere, have the ability to be adaptable, who have the ability to have really phenomenal courage, right, and resilience, think about a Navy SEAL. Think about the situations they're put into and how they're able to survive and thrive. And if you think about 2020, right, that we just went through, did it test our grit? Oh my gosh, it did, didn't it? It really tested our grit. And so let's break it down. So how gritty are you is really what this warm-up is about this morning. So here's grit in the 4 attributes. Number 1, courage. So what is your courage like? What is courage? Courage is stepping into the unknown. Courage is stepping into our fears, right? Our biggest achievements live when we step into our fears, when we have the courage to put ourselves out there. So I would ask yourself, how's that attribute for you? The next one is perseverance. What's perseverance? How long are you willing to stick with something? Even when things aren't going good, do you give up or do you keep going? Even though you know that it's not working today, but I know if I do it long enough, it'll work. Do you stick with it? How are you at your perseverance? Just sticking with something. Next one is adaptability. I was talking to somebody the other day and they were just, oh my gosh, it's catastrophic for the seniors that aren't being able to go to school and not having a senior year. And this is just going to be horrific for them. And it's going to be really interesting to see how it impacts them long term. And I mean, it was just on and on and on and on and on. And I get it. But here's my question, right? That's one way of looking at it. But here's another way to look at it. Can I control the fact that we have COVID? No. Can I control the fact that the schools are closed? No. Can I control the fact that my kid's probably not happy with the fact they got to be home and being schooled at home? No, I can't. But guess what I can control? I can help my child understand how to be adaptable in difficult situations, to take a situation and say, you know what, there's things we can't control, but what can I control? I can control this. And I can control how I choose to navigate through difficult times and become adaptable, right? Because life is going to throw a curveball at us all the time. But how good are you at adapting? And then the last one is your resilience. How many of you are hanging on to the past and then allowing that past to be predictive of your future versus how many of you are looking at the past and saying, I learned from the past, but I'm resilient and I'm going to get back up. And I'm going to get back up, and I'm going to get back up, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to have courage, I'm going to persevere, and I'm going to be adaptable because I'm resilient. You guys, that is grit. That is what grit is. So we've been tested, right? Our grit has been tested. So ask yourself, how gritty are you? And he gives you some other buckets. So I'm just going to throw these out there, and you might want to read the book. He talks about mental acuity, which is how you process the world, and here's the attributes for that. Situational awareness, compartmentalization, task switching, and learnability. Those are critical ones when it comes to having mental acuity. The next one is drive. Who are those people that have phenomenal drive? What are their attributes? Here they are. Self-efficacy, discipline, open-mindedness, cunningness, and a little bit of narcissism. All right? What about leader? Do you know what's funny? We can go, I'm learning to be a leader. Well, leaders have specific attributes, and those attributes create behaviors. And people will look at somebody, they don't give you a title as leader. A leader is once you have certain attributes in the way you show up. So here they are: empathy, selflessness, authenticity, decisiveness, accountability. Those are all attributes of a leader. And then last but not least is team, being in a team. How well are you at working with others? Right? Are you that type of individual that really excels with a group? And if you are, here's some attributes that you probably have: integrity, conscientiousness, humility, and humor. And I'll finish with this, and he kind of said this, and I'll put a link to the podcast in this warm-up as well, but he said this, he said, sometimes grit is not excelling. A lot of people say, well, they're really gritty and they really do really well. He says, no, sometimes grit is simply just taking it step by step. So it is difficult, but I have the ability to have courage, perseverance, adaptability, and resilience. So I would ask you specifically, look at those attributes and say, how well are you at dealing with those attributes? Because life's going to throw us a curveball, and the people who are able to sustain, right, and he talks about it, and perform at optimal levels, understand the attributes of being gritty and are gritty. All right, everybody. Hey, make it a great day. Be awesome and help somebody. Talk to you later.